What's going on, gamers? Rockmonkey here. We got another coaching session for another Cassie. Lucky Cassie mains out there. This is a GM console player on his team playing against a high-level PC team. So quite a difficult game. I'd like to start off with be a bit nice watching this, and in the comments, these players are putting themselves out there to be critiqued constructively. With that in mind, let's get started with the build. So I find the Incitement 5 a bit interesting. Normally seeing Exaction next. Drain Life 2. That's pretty okay. Tense Training for a filler, 10% movement speed. Got, of course, the mandatory Blast Shower. And Somersault 2. So it looks like it's being experimented with. I personally can't go without Somersault 3. And I really like to have health on my Cassie build. And I see a lot of people like to have ammo. But I'm assuming this player likes to play more aggressive. That's why he likes to have the rolls up more. It might be a bit hard to get this game. They have double shield and they have a counter and a Vivian shield. Oh, triple shield actually. So I can't imagine the procs are going to be easy. Against maybe a Ying or like a Rom Ruckus, I think you can get more value out of it. But we'll see if it helps him out. Starting off, he got Wrecker. Solid choice against 3 shields. What does each comp do? Their team, pretty good point pressure with the Vivian, but very aggressive with the Khan Ashe lineup, which both can function as off tanks, and the Xin to pair with the Ashe, and the General's Pocket for extra damage on the Xin and help him go even deeper. So they have a lot of damage and they have a lot of mobility and aggression. What does your team have? Double point tank, a Cassie for consistent damage and information spam, and emoji. And a Corvus to pocket the emoji. So I imagine your team is more of a pocket emoji with the Terminus and Corvus, and pretty much depends on where your emoji can play. So your whole team revolves around the emoji. Their whole team revolves around getting picks, most likely on you and the Corvus. So that's generally what I would guess are going to be the win conditions for each team. So we're going to have to play around that.
Where do I go? Oh, I really shouldn't have drank for this.
In my opinion, the best way to set this up is to have you play here or here, and your Barrack play here or in front of you here. Then have your Moji and Terminus come to mid and take dark control. And that way, if they fight you field, you have the concave. If they go into dark, they'll die to your Moji. If they go into you, your Moji will flank. This sets up the best control for field. You look a little indecisive of what you want to do. This is actually better if you're playing solo to play this position because you can't be caught out. But what you want to do is you don't want to get here late. You're very late. Everyone's already rolled out past you. You want to get here 1 second earlier and you want to hit this with your blast shot. That dismounts the entire enemy team and gives you information. So you do have the information that you saw a lot of people and you're going to be rushed down. I would have liked you searching for this angle to get a second chance at dismounts and to increase your distance while watching that angle. You want to pressure the Ashe as soon as she dismounts with a disengage. You get free damage and she can't shield it until she lands. So you can get her down to maybe 2/3 health or so. A bit of a missed opportunity on the disengage, like I said. She got the shield down, she's full health, and she took a lot of space doing that. So here you back up to dark and then go back in. You want to go to your Barrack shield, of course. I think you knew that in the moment, but Barrack wasn't under pressure, so of course he'll have his shield. So you want to go to Barrack, and then your fallback plan is, in my opinion, Sun, the other side, not dark. You'll have good angles there, and you can keep kiting. You don't want to stack with your team because they don't really need you. Your job is to mostly make sure they don't get surrounded. Grouping up main. This is fine. I like to split up a little bit more. You're quite close to your emoji. Looks like you didn't really see that Ashe or hear the Ashe. So I would say make sure your in-game effects are loud enough so you hear the horse, and yeah, keep an eye on it. Waiting for the self heal, that's fine. You want to wait just like one more second if you can to shoot that mine, because it actually stopped your self-heal and you're missing quite a bit of HP. You want to save that blast shot for the Vivian. You knew he was there, and it's much more effective against squishier targets, especially when she's very aggressive like she is. So in my opinion, you should be a bit more aggressive here. You could dodge roll to this pillar 2 seconds ago because your barrack's already applying pressure and you already won the trade. So if he tries to fight you, he should die. And Vivian can't fight you either. And at 90% cap, you have to play faster. I thought you could have tried to look for the Genos a tiny bit more with your disengage and maybe get a combo off. But that was a pretty tough situation. Here you have to remember the arrow spawns quite low, so it clips things even though your crosshair is above it. So you have to actually play a bit more forward to get things over you. Here you want to look for a disengage on someone. Either disengage the Vivian away, so the Khan is alone, or disengage the Khan so you can shoot past him and hit the Vivian. Could have been looking around a tiny bit more, fishing for other shots. If they ignore you and you're not doing anything, then you're just wasting time. So you're definitely dead here, but if you know you're gonna die, like as soon as your 2 teammates get picked, you can actually dive cart and go for a Genos pick. That's pretty much your only chance to get value right now, because you're not gonna kill these 2 players realistically, and you're not gonna get out. So in this situation, when you're spawning like this, the right side is the aggressive side. The angles are much more claustrophobic, and there's a lot more close-up duels. The left side is the open side. You have a long sight line through here, and once you take control of it, you have a long sight line through there, and you have an option to rotate for more long sight lines. So you're actually the more long-range player on the team. Moji is stronger here, and you are stronger on the left. So it would be good to make sure you get left. Get a lot more favorable angles that way. Bit of a wasted disengage on that shield, because disengage really will come in handy right about now. Good damage though. So here's where the disengage would have been big. If you hit a Genos with a disengage right here, he's 100% dead. Left click disengage, left click blast. He's dead. For sure. I get so many picks on supports on cart with my disengage. Here's where being left would have helped you a bit more. You would have had more of an opportunity to help, and you wouldn't have been stacked and forcing the spawn as much. Let the Moji deal with that. But it was a tough hold because you died before the push. Get the record 2. I think that's okay. I would stop at record 2 though, and go into some cauterize, because your comp actually lacks a lot of cauterize. Tremendous can't apply it, and Moji isn't so great at it. Caud is still important even though it's Genos heals. They do have life rip on Ashe and the shout, and of course the heals, and possibly life rip on Vivian. So here you opt for the more aggressive side, so you get better vision and you get better dismounts. You're going for like a surprise peek, which is okay. Sometimes you can go there and dismount, or sometimes you get a hide and go for surprise, or hide and go for flank. That's everything's fine. You're just waiting for your option. Here you go. Went for the Zin damage. That's fine. I would have ulted. Yeah, you knew where they were, but it would have helped you figure out if they're pushing your right, because if Ashe tries to bully you, it's actually pretty valuable to know how safe your right side is. And it lets your team know how much they're looking at you. So I like to ult. I like to ult when the teams are engaging, or right before they engage. Pretty efficient on that Ashe. I feel like that you pretty much won that. So they go in the dark, and they're pretty much gonna die to your comp if they go in the dark. It's very hard for them to win. All you have to do is survive and beat up anybody that tries to surround your Moji. This is just the cleanup crew. So you see how your ult didn't actually contribute like a bunch of things, your team pretty much already won in dark, and if they're all fighting in dark, they kind of see the enemy anyway. That's why it's much better to use it for like a setup and use it for yourself earlier. You could have taken a faster route to get to phase sooner. Your team's very aggressive and you're lagging behind. Pretty good. So you wasted your disengage there. It would definitely come in handy right now. You know the Ashe is going to pressure you, or the Zen, and disengage is very valuable for both. Don't use it on a charging Ashe. And that dash was 100% dodgeable if you just moved like a foot to the right. So you did waste some HP there. This should be you almost full health and killing the Ashe, but because of a few missteps, you get beduped and out trading. If you roll back to through the door, you can actually get this angle back faster and help your barracks sooner. And you have better options outside of that rotation. As opposed to cutting left side, you're kind of trapping yourself and you're locking yourself away from the angle. But you do get helped, and you own them. But rolling through here, you have options to get to your team, and you have options to see through phase. You're much more in control of the situation, and you can't get locked away. And you have this cover to play around this little pillar over here, so I like that much more. You're just waiting for your team right now. You're not really gonna do much, but you're just holding space. Oh, missed that roll a little bit. It's fair to assume she may have ult here. Oh, a bit of a tunnel vision there. The Vivian was a free pick. You want the Moji left? If they're contesting this closely at wall, there's much better distance for her, and she's better against the Ashe. And you like the longer angles main or right side. Yeah, a bit of an unfavorable position. Whereas if Moji's here, she just shields it and then ults her. You know, much better for her. You want those long angles. So, same situation earlier, the arrow spawns quite low. If you were Leon, you'd be hitting these, but not on Cassie. So you have to go up here and stand and use this cover and shoot down that lane. You would actually be doing pretty good damage, good information. This is a little pointless to roll the dice on every one of those shots. Be mindful of con ult. Looks like you're trying to bait it effectively. It's fine if he ults you too. It's quite late into the push. Here, I think you give up too easily. I think you're winning that trade pretty well, and it stops him from gripping your Terminus if you're helping your Terminus, because he'll take a lot of free damage from you. I don't really agree with the rotation so much. Here's a free Ashe knockback if you hit her with your disengage. Doesn't seem like you recognize the opportunity. Good shot on the Sin. Again, I like these longer angles. It looks like you're going for it this time. So that was kind of just your Moji doing the thing that you were doing last time, going on the left, except she is much better at it. You were 1v1ing the Xin, and your Term was 1v1ing the Con. I think if you played with your Con more, you would have won that easier. Keep going fast. I would have dashed through main and set up phase just because it's faster, and you probably get 1 or 2 extra shots before that long rotation. Be mindful of con ult, because they could ult this if they really want to hold. You are pretty easy to ult right here. So your barracks are already fighting left. I would say that fighting left with your barrack is the best thing you can do right now. Paying attention to the Xin and paying attention to this Ashe, because if you secure this hut, it should be an easy push. I don't think your Moji needs your help really. Yeah, you should have been here like 3 seconds earlier, and you would have got maybe the Ashe down to a quarter or less. And then you'd be able to 2v1 the Xin. So you see the Ashe coming, you could play in this little cubby, or there's something on the left. I think you actually would have been able to dodge it as well. So you want to use those angles. There's no reason to stay in the middle of the doorway. Bonk. Oh, you own that Ashe. And Ashe is dead. Your next biggest threat is the Xin. I actually think you should kite a little bit now because you're quite low and your barrack, I guess, is over you. He has to go to cart. So either you play with your barrack and ask for ult, or you back up because your barrack's leaving the Xin. You definitely don't ignore the Xin there. He could really mess you up. Now here's your opportunity to flank the Xin. Yeah, I think you ignored the threats on the left a bit too much and you focused the con too much. The Vivian was a pretty nice pick potential, but the Xin, I really think you could have won that left side. Wrecker 3 is a bit of a heavy investment for what's going on. In my opinion, you should go Caught 2 and another item. Terminus and Moji are not very good at it, so I think you need to pick up Slack for them. Plus Wrecker 3 is just so expensive. Let's see when you use the ult this time. What's your choice? So this time you went mid, so they haven't contested mid yet. You have the information early, so this is fine. You missed out on scouting on the right, but you just ult to compensate. This is the issue with stacking. I believe you're much more effective on field doing a pincer play. But this is okay if you want point pressure instead of to fight them field. You do have comeback mechanics, so this is fine. I would just be pretty cautious here. There's no reason to engage into them. Your biggest thing is making sure no one's flanking. You already did that with your ult. And then your biggest thing is surviving after that. A little unlucky. You did have dodge roll. You just didn't react, I suppose. I probably wouldn't even go in there in the first place. I would stay in the sun doorway and see what you can control. You can boop this Ashe off the bridge. That's a free boop and kill for sure. Securing the middle lane, this is fine. Timing's a bit off there, it's okay. This kind of gives me flashbacks of the push. The left is close angles, that's not so good for you. The middle is longer angles. Then if you secure that, you secure a fast route to the point. A little unlucky. I know the feeling. I would have put you main, and I would have put you a little bit slower to wait for your team a little bit more. Gotta remember he has that. So this is probably where I would buy MR. Master Writing. I like to flank in situations like this because a lot of people are stacking point and getting messy, and your Moji's already mid. Running out is pretty good. You get a free flank on the Xin and C point. Nice kill. Nice kill. Fortunately, you didn't notice the Vivian. You still have a chance to disengage it right now. You don't go for it. I get 3 kills, unlucky.
That was close.
Main issues, I think your disengage usage could be much better on catching people out and displacing them. So I want you to think about your disengage more. I think you can take space a little bit faster. It's not the biggest deal right now. And coming up with a plan on the mid, just think about what their comp wants to do and what your comp wants to do, and think about how you want to play around that. Because there's definitely some opportunities for you to grab your tank and go field and go for a concave field, or to just chill in sun. I feel like you didn't use those parts of the map as much as you should have. Or even to play pillars, then you could watch the flank and you could rotate to point. And you just watch these two things from here, and you just play that by yourself, and it's pretty strong in this situation. So I think you need to play around Ashe's more, the disengage a little bit pre-shield, and then just dodging her shoulder bash. I think you have to expect that more and bait it, bring it into situations she doesn't want to be. Your item choice was a little bit off. Personally, I probably would have gone Wrecker 2, Caught 2, and then maybe a blue or yellow item. I think you don't realize when you're winning a trade, a 2v2, and you could just keep pushing that 2v2 and just win. I think your ult usage is a tiny bit off. It could be used earlier to set up your engagements and help you make decisions. And you did die a few times because you were late on your roll. You never really want to die with your roll up. You could try Somersault 3 to give you extra time to react. I think that helps out a lot. And I didn't really see much use of the roll cooldown incitement, but against their shieldy comp, I don't see the value as much. You do ignore threats. Sometimes your target prio is a little bit off. I think if you manage that a little bit better, you can set up the fight. I think when you're losing, you can be going for trades. Thanks for the VOD. You played pretty well, and this is an interesting high-level game. Just a few little mid-maxes, and this game could go completely differently. If anyone else wants to have a coaching session, all you have to do is sub to my Twitch at twitch.tv/rockmonkey and DM me a VOD or post it in my Discord. Thanks for watching.